Okay. No. We are live. And we are needle felting today. Slowly finishing getting myself together here. At least we're trying to get ourselves together. Alright. So, hello friends. It is Tuesday. Because it is needle felting day. Now, we had gotten started on this guy last week. I'm going to have to add in some extra time, so I might have to do some recorded stuff and then add that into the playlist eventually. We'll see. I'll do my best. I was informed that I need to have 6 of these things. We only made 5. So we need to get that sorted out here. And I did not end up fluffing more yarn yet. I probably should have, but I've been busy. We'll get there eventually. Kind of wish I had made this when I was making the other ones, because now I'm not sure how thick I made these guys. I mean, I suppose we could just trim off the extra here at the bottom. But these guys are what we're making here. These are what they look like before they get their colorization, I guess we'll go with. Their colorization effects added into them there. I'm using a small gauge needle for this. And instead of roving for the core of our creature, I am using polyfill. Does it work just as good? I don't know. It'd probably be better to go with the roving. It'd probably go a little bit faster. But we get there in the end. And the polyfill fits my budget. So that's kind of what I'm just trying to roll with here, is that something that fits the old budget the best. Had a little bit of a wild bit there off the end. So we're kind of making blunt unicorn horns is basically what it kind of looks like, or really skinny trees. We want to leave the poof at the bottom though, so it kind of looks like a broccoli stalk, because the poof is how I'm going to attach it. Now I haven't figured out if I'm going to colorize the head first and then try to attach these guys and then just like put patches around where the attachment points are, or if I want to attach them and then color the head. I think we might go with option A. That's probably going to be the less pain in the ass option. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So I'm just kind of turning this guy. I kind of want him to be slightly conular, slightly cone-shaped. And he's going to be a little bit wild and a little bit fuzzy, because that's kind of how needle felting rolls a little bit. Oh, watch your fingers, especially if you have a bad aim like I do. So we have these on, the little finger protector guys. Because I just stabbed into the side of it. It didn't go completely through it. I managed to stop as soon as I hit the more dense material of the finger protector. But I do highly recommend them. Especially if you're doing critters where your fingers are going to be right up in there. And you can still feel the fluff through it. Like, not completely, but like I can feel when the strands are being pulled past the outside of it. It's kind of weird to describe. Either that or I'm just really, really sensitive. Sometimes I can feel the strands getting whisked on by, so there's a little bit of feeling through it. Just a tiny amount. Hope everybody's week is going okay so far. I know it's only Tuesday, but we've got Thanksgiving coming up here in America on Thursday. Thursday's an off day for us anyhow right now. So we won't be streaming. I will be trying to get my normal Thursday routine stuff done, along with trying to cook. Because we're going to have to get our dinner made. I've got some video I need to get edited for bear breakfast. I've got 4 of those I need to get edited. I might stick with just posting 3 and holding the 4th one to the next round. I don't know yet. I have to get some more bear and breakfast recorded. Oh gosh, this guy's a lot thicker, isn't he? Well, yes, he is. Okay, well, that's gonna be a thing, I guess. Alright, so since we don't need all of this, I'm going to try to leave myself enough there on the bottom. I'm gonna put that down here. So that I've got enough I can kind of fan out here to use as my attachment. He might tighten up a little bit once we start getting him colorized here. Alright, haven't cleaned this mat in a while. The cleaning only removes so much anyway. The scraping, but let's see what happens here. Okay, so we're using rosy pink. I'm definitely gonna have to get some more of this fluffed because what's in here is not gonna cut it. That's for certain. Okay. So I've been having, oh, nope, don't you dare come back here. I've been having a little bit better success with this not wrapping it around. So that's what we're gonna try to keep doing. So I'm gonna take this to the base, or the approximate base location. And I'm just gonna start to stab into our pink here as best as I can. He's tiny, so he's a little bit harder to hold onto. And you don't want to put your finger underneath of it to help hold it because it's thin. So you're likely going to stab through and get yourself. So we have to be aware of finger placement. For sure. We should keep the unprotected finger out of the line of fire. That would probably be the best course of action here. So these guys are going to be a little bit, I don't want to say tricky. We're going to need to pack our patience pants because they're small. And we need to get these pieces attached into here. I think last time I started at the tip. And I guess it doesn't really matter too much which end you're gonna start at. Like, not truly. But I would recommend not jabbing the needle too deep either. Because if you go too deep, you're going to come out the other side, and not only will you potentially stick yourself if your finger is not placed in the right spot, but you'll also have little poke throughs of your fluff coming through the other side. And that's not a huge problem. It's a pretty minor thing to deal with. You'll just have to do a little extra trimming to get rid of some of that extra fuzziness if you're not able to work it back in. Or if you want it to be that fuzzy, well, there you go. Okay. Now, if your fluff's being a little uncooperative, you can get a tiny bit of water. And you can put like just a drop in your hands, in your palm, and then you can run your fluff over that. and that'll help, you know, help you shape it a little bit better, or potentially get it rolled a bit better. Sorry, I didn't have that placed entirely where I wanted it to be. Just trying to get that tip covered, but I kind of missed on the placement. That's okay. We'll try again with the next bit of fluff. It's not so dire at this very moment for me to rip it out. So we're okay. Okay, this is a light enough shade of pink where we were probably gonna have to do a little bit extra color layering up anyhow. More than likely. All right. So this might be a little bit tedious for some people, but for me it's just a little more delicate. It is going to be a little bit time consuming because we have to color our little tendril, tentacle, antenna guy here. And then we have to make his little fringes, right? And we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, I think. Looks like we put on the other one. Oh yeah, it seems like either some businesses closed a day or two early around here, or people took off early already. There was not as much traffic out this morning, and it felt kind of strange. I'm like, but it's only Tuesday. Thanksgiving's not till Thursday. Like, I almost expected this level of traffic tomorrow. So it was a little bit of a surprise when we headed out to the PARK with the doggos this morning. And there was one other car in the parking lot on the side that we parked at. Now, it was pretty chilly, but even on the other cold mornings, there's been other people there. So, that also felt a little strange. I have to figure out what bucket I have this color in, because I don't know what bucket this color's in the rest of it. And we're gonna need more, so I'm gonna have to go digging. I'm hoping it's the bucket under my feet. Because that bucket is gonna be a lot easier to get into. I just did one tiny little tack down into the mat of that piece, of this piece of fluff here, just so it wasn't constantly flipping up. I kind of used it as a little third hand here. Trying to figure out where we are here. Alright, so I'm going to try to wrap this around gently. And I am prepared to deal with the fact that I'm probably going to have to kind of do not really a shave of this little tentacle guy, but at least, you know, just kind of like a real close trim. I'm kind of expecting to. I have the other scissors that are a little bit better for that. I didn't pull them out, but I have them right here. I don't have to go very far to find them. Might have to do another wrap around the tip here, going in the opposite direction, just to make sure that we are good and covered there, because it looks a little thin up there. Alright, so which way did we go? I think we went that way. I need to go this way this time. That vehicle does not sound healthy. Not at all. I don't know if the microphone picked that up. Alright, so it's that way. This one needs to go like this way. Okay. Let's start to get that tacked in. Now, could I have just simply made these entirely out of the yarn and skipped the inner core on this part? Yeah, I could have. I think it would have taken a lot more yarn though. Like a stupid amount more, that I don't know, but it would have definitely taken more yarn for sure. This tip is probably the hardest part of this. Getting it color wrapped. See, now there's some more traffic moving out there. This is kind of the level of traffic we expected about 8 o'clock this morning. That we didn't really encounter. We encountered some closer to the city. So we had to go run an errand this morning. But some of that was due to some road construction that was going on too. So this is still not as attached as it could be. It feels a little loosey goosey here. I feel like we could get that attached in a little bit better. Okay. So let's get a little bit more fluff here. I don't want it like real tight on itself here, but I do want a little bit. I definitely want it doubled up on itself. And I am trying to keep my unprotected fingers out of the way, because I have a habit of getting them right where they don't belong. So we saw the one house that was decorated elaborately for Halloween last night, putting up their Christmas inflatables, and there wasn't a spare inch of grass on that property. And the guy was outside. He goes, "Yeah, I got a little carried away." And we're like, "No, it's great." And he had an inflatable chicken and rooster, like a hen and a rooster. We're like, "Hey, where did you get those?" He goes, "Oh, well, the rooster was last year from Tractor Supply, and this year they've got a hen." So we looked up online how much the hen was for my mom. Oh my goodness. Those are quite the investment. Quite the investment. It was like $150, not on sale. It's like, wow. That's some big buckies there. Some stuff might have been on sale if you had like a rewards membership with them. We didn't, because we hardly ever are in Tractor Supply. We don't really have a need to be in Tractor Supply. We don't have any chickens. We talked my mom out of that. I'm like, Mom, they can't be in the house. They have to be in a coop outside. She's like, well, I wanted it in the house. I'm like, Mom, we can't have a chicken in the house. They are going to poop everywhere. Number one. Number two, the cats will eat them. And that's if Zuzu doesn't try to eat it first. Because Zuzu's never been around a chicken, and I don't know, well, not a close proximity chicken. They saw the chickens when we took them to Key West the one year, but those chickens kept on walking and weren't in his same space, so he's got a bit of terrier in him and corgi in him. He might try to herd the chicken, and I don't think that's gonna go so well. Whoop. This tip just it can't be that thin. It's gotta just be the color that the yarn is at this point, and the way the light is reflecting it, reflecting off of it. I mean, it won't matter too much because we've got to get our little tendril pieces on there. Camera? What the hell? Really?
Again?
Yep. Completely froze. The software preview on my screen had frozen. And the cable's like, nope, nothing to see here. And blacked it out. Are we still in focus?
Yes, you appear to be.
Okay. This is getting downright annoying. At this point. This is supposed to be a good camera too, so I'm kind of annoyed. And like, I didn't even move that time. I don't know if the software needs to be updated. Is there an update? Is that something I have to do manually?
Probably manually. I'll look into that.
This is just getting stupid. It had you here at one point, I think. I think it depends on whether or not you have that window active. Like, if you're clicked on it or not.
Yeah, except it still hasn't updated even after I interacted. And yes, I have the volume.
It might be registering on the other end, like on the data end, but just not on the display end. Or it only refreshes every so many minutes. Or the dashboard is just weird and buggy. And they keep rolling out other features that nobody asked for instead of fixing existing shit. It would be nice if they're gonna fix existing shit, if they're gonna make us go back to the $100 payouts. Although that hasn't been confirmed. It was just the way the language was in the upcoming terms adjustment. I'm not even sure if that went active yet or not, but my threshold payout is still saying 50. So I don't know. What that's about. But that's okay. Our next payout won't be until sometime next year anyway. Okay. Get that attached there. Okay, so we're gonna need a little bit more pink to finish this side. Like, I have more of it in the Ziploc. I just only pulled out so much. Okay. So let's see. Let's put you about here. We're gonna try to start covering this section. If possible. So you can kind of see how our guys change shape a little bit. And I was expecting that to happen. Especially with us paying more attention to one area at a time. Like, that's not a surprise. Kind of figured we would need to deal with that. As long as he doesn't get too much shorter, we'll be okay. And we're dropping frames again. Fucking hell. Seriously? But I'm not offline.
You're offline on this screen.
Entirely?
Yeah. That looks like it.
Because try to refresh. Because I'm still going as one session. I dropped 183 frames.
Refresh worked.
Okay. We might have to call the internet company.
I don't think it's our internet, dude. It's probably your computer if you keep having problems with your camera. I'll check your drivers when you're done.
But the internet kicked you too.
Huh?
The internet would have kicked you too.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's probably not the internet.
Were you... What time did that happen? Like 11... Say 11:40-ish. Oh, this is just turning into a thing. Thought we were doing pretty good. It like after our power went out last night, and the power did go out last night, right as we were about to start making dinner. We didn't seem to have too much internet trouble for a little while, and then it was starting up again when I went to bed. So either there's a cat that's messing about in the other room, I don't think it's our router, because that seemed to be okay. Alright, so we've got just this section in here, and it's kind of like from here and wraps around. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to switch my audio, if it does it again, to go through my Kindle. And then if the Kindle is dropping, then it's not my PC. Okay. See, I was coming through the other side there. You can kind of see the little spiky, like stalactite kind of looking things poking out there. So that was the needle going through the other side and shoving strands of the fluff through the other side. And it did it again.
Yep. Let's see. I'm still running, but it's
It dropped down to like 1 bar on OBS and it dropped like 200 and some frames.
Yeah, I'm not having any. I have Spotify going. I'm not getting any drops on that. I'm just getting drops on you.
Now see, my Spotify dropped out entirely.
It might be your computer or something, or it might be your connection to the it might be your physical connection. I can check that real quick.
Because at this point, I'm tempted to put on Spotify through my Bluetooth headphones and do it through my Kindle to see if
is it happening that often?
It just started. The last one, that first drop this morning happened 10 minutes ago.
Now keep in mind that they are working on that thing down on the corner.
Yes, but you didn't drop either, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So let me swap out my headphones real quick.
Yeah, no, I can't check your physical connection without stopping your stream, so I'll wait afterwards.
If it decides to play. Alright, we'll try this then, and we'll see what happens. I don't know why my connection from my computer would just be suddenly flipping out. I'm not really doing anything to cause it to flip out. Alright, so if you're not able to rework in the little the little guys that are kind of poking out the side, you can always just kind of shave them down with the hair scissors. So that last one happened about 11:40-ish. Okay. So we'll get this tacked into here. And we'll see how we do. Now, if my Spotify drops on my Kindle, at the same time I lose frames again, then it's not my PC, it's the internet on the whole. Because my Kindle is connected to the router through our Wi-Fi, and I am hardwired into our router through my PC. So hopefully this will give us a better idea for figuring out what the heck is happening. Alright. So I still have a small bit right here that needs a patch of pink. It's like right in here. It's really thin. Now I could have just like wrapped around, but I wanted to go this route in the hopes that we didn't distort it too much. And for the most part, that's kind of working. Might have to add in one more little piece on this guy. We'll see though. See how it shapes up here. Even though now I'm like paranoidally watching to see if frames are gonna start dropping. My frame here is it moving on that screen? Okay. I had to Refresh there. Okay. All of the things are being cranky today. All of them. Alright. So, it does look like I'm gonna need to do one more tiny little patch. Right here. I've got just the smallest bit. Just the smallest little bitty bit. But it looks like my Kindle does not want to play Spotify and the stream at the same time. So that's interesting. Alrighty. So after we get this one pinkified, or should we just pinkify all of them? Should we put everybody's pink on first? And then come back and do the little fringy guys? Or should we do the fringes as we go? I kind of feel like we should do the fringes as we go. Oh, oh wow, that one shrunk, didn't it? Oh goodness, okay. Wow, that one really shrunk. Oh noes. Oh noes. Maybe we can put this little one. Maybe this one can be like up higher. Oh goodness, okay. Yeah, that one definitely did shrink. The other ones didn't. Well, the other one didn't. I always short myself. I think I have too much. And it turns out that I don't have quite enough. Alright, so this is just a little bit of water. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of try to tuck that little bit of a thin tail up against itself. Alrighty, so let's try to get in here. And we're going to be kind of stabbing into the mat at the moment. We don't want to attach it to the mat necessarily. Like, that's not really the end goal here. We're trying to get it rounded up and on, like, stabbed into itself. And it'll take a little bit, but we'll get there. Just just gonna take a little bit of fiddling. And I want to try to keep rotating it, kind of like how we made our tendrils to begin with. Alright. Do you think I have to change how I am sitting here? Give me 1 second. Whew. My one leggy was not happy. Not at all. Alright. And then these guys will probably need a little bit of a shaping trim. Before we go to attach them. And there's probably other ways of doing this, but this way kind of works about the best for me. I want him to be a little bit stiffer here. Ooh, tissue. Oh, let's go this way. Alright, so just gonna try to shave down our sides here. I don't want to really cut into it. I'm just kind of skimming the surface, essentially. Just getting any of the little flyaway guys. Just to try to keep it from getting a little too fuzzy, if possible. Right. So, this guy, my hand's going to be in the way for just a minute. As I try to work on getting him attached into here. Alright. We'll get this guy. Let's get his little tail here that I left, or little tabbies, if you will. our extra fluff. And we'll just work on getting all that dabbed down in. So the headphones that I have linked to my Kindle are noise canceling earbuds. I believe that they are linked to the cell phone I was using to take photos. No. They're only linked to the Kindle. That's right. No, they are linked to that cell phone, I think. Yeah. Because the cell phone was easier to have with us. I would just need the husband to put his hotspot on so I could play music if I needed to, because a lot of the places that we went out to eat had live music playing, and it would be so bassy it would just make my ears throb. It was really uncomfortable. Just a little bit of water just to try to help get this into the shape I am looking for here. Like, you don't want your hand like full of water. You just want a little bit. Just enough. Just like a drop off of your fingertip is really all you need. To be perfectly honest, doesn't take much. And that's with the roving or the acrylic yarn. And I am using acrylic yarn as my colors. And it started out, you know, as any skein of yarn that you would get from the store, wherever you get your yarn from. And then you take a pet grooming brush, a dog brush, a sticker brush. It's got all these little angry teeth on it. I suggest the metal one, not the plastic one. Plastic one, the teeth are going to break. But if you get the metal teethed one, it's like for removing the double coat on dogs, like the undercoat. If you've got a two-coated pet, you cut some lengths of yarn, and then you know, you have them together, and then you brush it out, and it basically untwists the yarn. It unplies it, I guess, and kind of puts it back into its pre-yarn twisty state. All of the tapping and clacking is Zuzu, his feet on the floor. I'm not really sure why he's being so excitable here all of a sudden. Like I said, I've got these noise canceling headphones on, so if the husband said something, I didn't hear him. I mean, I guess I could turn the noise canceling off. Alright, that way we can kind of hear the husband if he starts talking to us again. But now it makes my voice sound so much louder to myself. I haven't had a drop yet, which I find fascinating. At least not that I've noticed. Could be coincidence, though. But I'm not certain. It is a coincidence. Oh my goodness, this thing is so tiny. Not sure how I did it before. It was a little bit easier. I might have had it a little bit longer. It might work with a little bit longer of a piece. Okay. I guess he's taking the dogs out. These scissors, snips, whatever they are, a little bit creaky. So don't mind that sound. All right. So this is number 2 on this side. And we're going to try to get 8 of these guys on here. Which we were able to do it on the other one. So in theory, we ought to be able to do that here too. Just trying to grab some of our looser bits of fluff here. And get that attached in. Okay, so there's 2. I'll never get these things all the same size. That's just not going to happen. say, I am just not that good. And you know what? That's okay. If I was trying to sell him, I'd be a little more particular. But the husband was like, you make it as derpy as possible. Alrighty. We're doing pretty good. So far, we got an extra antenna made today. And we got another antenna covered in pink so far. And we got two little fringy things attached. Oh shit. Damn it. Oh no, we forgot to do something when we came home earlier. And it just kind of popped into my brain. I was like, oh, damn it. Alright, so this guy is going to take a little bit of extra fussing. So far, it seems. And sometimes they do. That's just the nature of it. Especially when you are working with something quite so small. Alright, so feels pretty tightened up. So I'm just trimming this over a tissue just so I can keep track of all the little fuzz that we are trimming off. Just so it's a little bit easier at cleanup time, and then that way we don't get too much of this fuchsia magenta-y color into our light pink fluff. when we go to do another tendril wrap here. I mean, we've got a little bit of that shade in the pad, so it's not going to be completely clean, but it'll help a little bit. Okay. My hand is going to be in the way a little bit here. For a minute. So it's kind of hard to attach these guys without the hand getting in the way. So I'm trying to go down through the little bit of fringe that I left on the end. And attach through that. Sometimes that's a little bit easier said than done. These feel a little bit stiffer than these guys. Oh well. That's just the way that's gonna be. Let's see, we're gonna have to get some more raspberry pink fluffed, I think, too. But I also try to top off my fluff bags when I'm done a project, so that way I've got the fluff all ready to go for the next project. And I don't have to scramble to get everything done before I start it, because then I'm probably not going to feel like doing the project. Kind of why when I get new yarn colors, I fluff them before I put them in their storage bin. That way I know what colors I have, because I put them on my fluff wall. And then it's already done. And I'm like, didn't I have X color? Now I know if I have X color. So that way I'm not sitting here searching for a potentially lost ball of yarn. Especially if it was a color I never had. Pretty. I am fascinated that I switched to Spotify on my Kindle and I haven't dropped since. Or at least not yet. That I'm aware of. And those other two dropouts, or just about dropouts, happened 10 minutes apart. So it's either coincidence or somehow related. But we still have the camera issue, so we're going to have to check for the drivers on the camera. See if there's a software update there. Just trying to make sure that these are as compacted as I am looking for. I need them to be a certain stiffness. Gosh, this guy's a lot thinner than the other two. 3. Oh well. Kind of was thinking when I put that fluff together that it wasn't quite as thick as the last one. And I haven't really been measuring them against each other. Which I guess I should have done. I really wanted to make sure. I'm gonna work on getting all of our little fringy pieces here tucked down in there. I'm gonna try to pull it back towards the base of itself here. Just so I don't have it too crazy. Or at least that's the idea. Will that actually work? I don't know. We're trying to make it work that way. We will see. I mean, hopefully. Sometimes things work out a little bit better in theory than in practice. Sorry, that guy still had a few loose strands on him. Okay, so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 3 more. 5, 6, no. We need 4 more. Yeah, 4 more. Is this too much fluff? I don't know. Probably. More than likely. But we'll see how we do. They are pretty tough to work with the smaller they get. I will say that. Okay. So right now this guy looks a little thick. So yeah, probably was a little carried away there. Oh, we're not done him yet though. We'll see how it goes. Now this mat that I'm using is from Wool Buddy. We've been using it for about a little over a year and a couple months. It did fairly well for us. Even though it's got the bump in the middle, that was probably from the amount of stabbing we've put it through, because we don't normally do critters all the time. We usually do flat landscapey paintings. Oh, I don't think it was really meant to take that kind of constant abuse. And I do have a new mat for when we start the flat stuff again. But this one's still usable for critters, so I'm probably going to hold on to this one for a bit longer. Now, I did read, or did see a video where the guy demonstrating it threw it into a washing machine to clean it. I'm kind of afraid to do that. But I'm also wondering if it will shrink down the bump in the middle. So I might try it as an experiment when I go to deem this matte at the end of its lifespan. So that way if it doesn't survive the washing machine, then it's okay because I've got the other one. But I am curious. The other guys just feel thicker. Needs me to do snips on those larger amounts, but that one piece is kind of messed up on the end, so they're probably okay. I mean, I have a bunch more of this color. Over here acting like I don't have any more of it. So I'm just trying to trim up some of the extra all over the place fuzzes. Alright. So alright, managed to save that bit. It still feels like a lot of excess on this. Come on. Alright, so I'm just gonna start to dab in at the very base of this guy. And then as we go, I'll start gathering up the little fringy bits here. As best as we can. And remember, we want to kind of turn that. So the fringe that's kind of smushed out everywhere, our little skirt here at the bottom, if you will, I'm just kind of pushing up against it and then going down. Just to try to get that tucked in a little bit better. just so the whole tentacle hair doesn't become magenta. Like, that's pretty attached, but like, I just want to make sure that we are pretty good in there. Alright, so that brings us to 5. This might be a little too thin. We'll see. Oh, and we dropped again. So, not my PC. I mean, we didn't drop. Spotify didn't drop, but OBS dropped that time.
OBS?
OBS dropped frames that time, but Spotify didn't stop on my Kindle. That could be because maybe the Kindle loads it more of it ahead of time. I don't know. But OBS.
I'm guessing it's your PC. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, but OBS dropped there. Let's see, what time was that? That was 12:46. So that was about a half an hour from the last one.
Yeah. Oh.
Hmm?
Oh, nothing. I made a mistake.
Oh, okay, because I've got these earbuds on, so it's hard to hear.
Sorry, just mumbling to myself.
Okay. Alright, so we are working on fringe number 6 out of 8. Okay. So we just need to kind of keep rotating. until we have it of the stiffness and shape that we're looking for here. It's getting there. It's not quite there yet, though. It could be a little bit better. Okay. Just about there on this one. Actually, it was almost an hour, just shy of an hour of the last drop. I think the last one was at 11:50.
Sorry, what? Did you do it again?
Huh?
Did you just do it again, or are you just talking about the last one?
No, I'm just talking about the last one.
Okay.
So, like the one before that one where it was 10 minutes later, I think that was around 11:50. And it's 12:50 now, so maybe 40 minutes?
It still doesn't matter. It's not that important. It doesn't have to be exact timing, dear.
Alright. This guy. Defuzzified here. Give him a little haircut. Remember not to cut into him, we're just kind of skimming the surface here. Okay. We've got quite the pink line stabbed into there. Okay. So we'll work on getting this guy attached into here. Remember, we're going to do this carefully. Since our fingers are right here. Just looking for it to be attached enough where if it gets tugged on lightly, it shouldn't release here. And to make sure that we've got most of our little fuzz there from our trim on the bottom attached here. Okay. So that's 6. We need to get 2 more on this guy. Okay. So back to fringe making. Looks like I picked up some of that pink that we had left behind from the last one there. A little bit. That's kind of funny. We are felting a divot into that bump there. That's fascinating. Does make me wonder if washing this would put it all back together. Definitely have to let you know how that goes if I end up doing it. So I'm trying to get this to be a bit of a rounded shape, so that's why I keep turning it. So it doesn't get too flat on us. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely not getting as far as I wanted to today, but that's alright. That's what happens. Now I know what I will probably be working on tonight after dinner. Video editing will have to wait. Well, we'll see how I'm feeling after dinner, put it that way. Still gotta get dinner made and dishes done. And hoping that the mother-in-law and her sister show up before we go to bed. Because they're supposed to show up either later this afternoon or tonight. And I'm like, define tonight. Because if we're already in bed when they show up. It's going to be slightly frustrating. Okay, so did I put it? Okay, they're kind of sharing. The top here. I guess they don't all have to be completely identical, but I would like them to at least look similar. Let's get this back side a little bit more attached here. Oh, that was interesting. My back just popped. I don't know if it was actually as loud as it sounded to me. We need one more for like right here. It was pretty chilly when we got up this morning. I'm not sure how cold though. Alright, so let me flip that over. Don't need that little tiny tail there hanging off. Alright, so anybody celebrating Thanksgiving? this week? Are you doing a Friendsgiving? Are you traveling? What are you guys up to? What you doing? Okay. Actually, I think we might just stay in our little divot here. It's working out pretty well for us. At least it is so far. And in my head, I was like, all right, we're gonna get all of these guys wrapped in pink. We're gonna get their tendrils on. We're gonna color the head today. Yeah, no. We'll be lucky if we get another one of these completed. I'm sorry if you can hear my neighbor's truck. I don't know if you can. Yeah, we've got quite the divot showing up there. It's good that you can't, because it's annoyingly loud. So that's something. Especially since he was having some trouble with it earlier today. Oh, I'm gonna slice the tip off there. That wouldn't be good. That certainly wouldn't be a fun time for anybody. Okay. Tiny little spot here is going to be a little bit difficult. I really don't want to have to pin you in place here, because then I'm going to worry about hitting the pin. So this is gonna take some maneuvering here. To attempt to get you. Ah, I'm coming through. Stop that. Like that I don't want to do. I was starting to poke through an area I wasn't expecting to. I can just get you attached into here. Alright, you don't feel all that soundly secure though. I guess you'll do. Okay. So there's 2. So we've got 2 done. Kinda sorta. Alright. Let's do this guy. I'm gonna need a little bit more water here. Oh, no, I don't want to mix you guys. Alright, you go there. Okay. How about this time? We just kind of do it this way. So that way, try to get this tip covered. A little bit better. Okay. Not looking too bad. Just trying to work on getting the very end of this guy sorted here. Since the end is what gave us a little bit of trouble. on the other one. And I just want to get our loose flyaways tacked down here, so they don't become too much of an issue. Alright, so now we're gonna go this way. Just be a little bit easier, I'm hoping. So get this guy. Tacked down into here. Now we still have to put the color on the rest of it, but this is what seemed to be a little bit fussy with the other guy, so let's try to learn from the issue. See if maybe we can head off that issue ahead of time. Alright, so that's still a little loose up here. Oh, ow! Oh, what is happening? My hand got angry. Give me 1 second. I think that tendon just got a little pissy. Probably for how I was holding it. Okay. I have a feeling that this one might try to shrink a little bit on us too. In which case, that's not gonna be real good. Okay. So I just did a couple of tacks into the mat. While I work on getting this attached into here. Just trying to keep it from flipping up and blocking what we're doing. Alrighty. Dang it, camera. What are you doing? And now you're back. Could the technical gremlins please leave me be? Because this is getting annoying. Like, I thought I saw a white flash out of the corner of my eye. And I looked, and I was like, did that come from the husband's computer? And then I looked up, and the stream had the Elgato symbol on it. But OBS didn't have the Elgato symbol on it this time. So, what the heck is going on? Computer, you're not that old. You shouldn't be having gremlins. This is crazy. And I hadn't even moved. Like, my foot didn't hit any cables. I've been pretty much in the same position. This guy kind of shrunk a little bit too. I was trying to prevent that from happening when I made them. But I suppose there's only so much planning you can do in that regard. And these guys weren't, well, some of them weren't super tight. All right. Hoping we can get these gremlins sorted out. Right, so what else? Well, this isn't fully attached yet. So I feel like what else still needs pink, but we should probably make sure what we just put down is in fact attached. I really don't want it sliding around being silly. And getting into trouble here. Okay, so that side's covered. Spot here. That's gonna need some covering. All right. So let's get that covered on up here. Okay. Yeah, this guy shrunk way down. It's just gonna be a little stub. He might be shorter than the other one. Our poor axolotl. All right. Look at this side. And then we'll just have a little bit more left to cover. Or we can start to make our little fringy guys. So let's see. Let's cover this piece right here. Yeah, he definitely shrunk down. This guy's the biggest one. Hopefully I can keep one of the other guys the same sort of size, but I guess if we can't, we can't. Now if I had used roving instead of polyfill, would that have made a difference? I don't know. It's possible. It's definitely possible. But I didn't have that much roving, so this is what we're going to work with. I think I had a tiny, tiny fraction of what I would have needed, so... That looks like a space in there that we'll need to fill. I wonder if that's the space I was just trying to fill. Did I miss? I don't think I missed. So again, just a little bit of water. And we'll just lay it over that bit of white polyfill that was showing through. And we'll get back to stabbing here. If my needle would cooperate now, my needle in my hand. I've got a little spot right here. We're gonna try to fill in. And then I've got a spot right here. We're gonna try. See if we can fill this part in. Might have to add one more area of pink. We'll see. Well, no. I mean, it definitely will have to happen in here. But I don't know if that's all that still needs to be covered up on this one. So I've got a little bit there. Kind of the same piece, kind of starting here and then like going there. Didn't think we needed quite that much. This might be a little bit too much as it is. But I guess as long as it covers it. How far? Alright, we don't need that much. Because it's more time that it's going to take to stab it all into place. And if we don't need that much, then we can be using that on a different spot. But I think this might be last bit of color that we need to attach to this guy. Like, we'll do one more spin around it just to make sure. That doesn't look too bad. I might end up trimming how much we have here at the bottom when it comes time. But we'll see. So he's kind of similar in size to this one. He's not too overly fuzzy. So I don't think he needs that much of a haircut. Like the other one, I didn't really feel like it needed one. Okay. That I'm going to set off to the side. Okay. So let's start to tendrilize, fringe this guy. This might be a little small. But I guess if he's too small, we can just kind of put him on the top edge if we need to. And all the creaking and cracking and stuff, that's the husband's chair. We are in the same room. He is getting a new chair for Christmas. So hopefully it won't be so loud. That chair is a few years old. And we're not exactly skinny minis. We're a bit on the fluffier side. So, chair's only going to hold up so long. And it's several years old. We really should have replaced his chair before mine, but mine seemed to have a catastrophic failure. Where it suddenly felt like I was sitting on a plate of metal. And I'm not entirely sure what happened. but I could not sit in my chair. With the... who is that?
Littles. Mom, come here. Little bit, Smurf. Come here.
She's spicy today, I think.
Come on, spicy cat. Yeah, I was already playing with her in the kitchen. And now she's chasing Cow. Just full of chasing.
I think this colder air's got them all wound up. Because I caught Ed stalking Cow while Cow was in the kitchen. And apparently I interrupted something. Because then he decided to go eat instead, but Little was sitting at the food bowl, and so he, like, noped out of there. So I'm guessing he has the brain cell at the moment.
Was smart of him,
huh?
Was smart of him, huh?
Yeah. Ed's our orange cat. And somehow out of nowhere we had another orange cat appear that's decided that he lives on our front porch now. Don't know where he came from. Didn't see anybody posting about a missing orange cat, at least not that had his coloring. This particular brand of orange. And the running joke is that these two sit and stare at each other through the door. And they're exchanging the brain cell back and forth between the two of them. And some days you can really tell. There will be moments where he seems with it and put together, and then other moments where it is just not. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Alright, so let's de-fuzzify your surface here. I'm just working on trimming off the extra unnecessary fuzzy. Kind of like how you trim up a rug when you tuft them, but not exactly to that deep of an extent. But we're just kind of cleaning them up here a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Okay. Let's go ahead and start attaching, trying to attach one of our fringy guys to this one. I want to get all of our little tiny flyaways tucked in here. I just want to make sure we are pretty attached here, because I don't want them to fall off. Have all of our hard work go out the window here. So we've got these two off to the side here. So one of those we finished last week, right? I'm gonna try to get at least this guy finished today. And that means I'm probably gonna have to work on these other ones off of stream. Because we still have feet to do and leggies. Any work I do on this guy off excuse me, off of stream, I will record. I will try to record, providing my camera decides to cooperate. So that way we'll have it for the finished piece later. It's kind of funny how I've got a divot line kind of punched into there. I mean, it's kind of working to my advantage at the moment, so I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Alright, so we need 7 more of these fuchsia colored things. That's still a little flimsy, I guess. Doesn't feel quite sturdy enough. At the base there. I mean, it's not like it has to be super stiff to support itself. But at the same time, I'm gonna be able to confidently trim that. and not have to worry too much about it. Alright, so the next one we need to make a little bit more thicker. Okay. Can you check that pot on the stove?
I already did, and I put some water in it.
Okay. Let's get this guy. And I'm gonna like go down at an angle kind of through the bottom. And after I get a couple of attachments like that, I'm gonna try to go against our little skirt here. Like gather it up and then kind of stab it down in there. Just to kind of keep the dark pink attachment spot from getting too large. Make sure that we're attached all the way around. Okay, so there's two on that piece. Yeah, this kind of feels like an air pocket in there. Like it's not a tremendously huge one, but it does feel like one. Oh, and we just dropped some more frames again. That time my Spotify on my Kindle stuttered. So I'm not so sure it's me. it is terribly annoying nonetheless. Okay. So we're gonna try to get this guy all sorted here. So he definitely feels a little bit stiffer. Doesn't feel as flimsy as the other one, so that's good. Okay. So if anybody's just joining, we are having some slight technical difficulties on my end, so if the stream freezes for a second, you might need to refresh. It's about once an hour or so I've been dropping frames. That and my camera's been pissy today. But we've just been kind of rolling with it. Because to hunt down the issue, it's going to take a while. So if everybody's having a good day. We are working on needle felting one of the husband's Christmas presents. We are making him an axolotl figurine. Right now we are working on the little tendril things that come off of his head. I'm just kind of cleaning up that extra fuzziness, so it's a little more manicured here. We've got two of the tendril guys complete here. These guys. So we need a total of 6 of these. And this is our headpiece. So eventually These guys are gonna get like attached on to the head there. Can kind of see them starting to... The idea is there. The idea is definitely there. This guy's a little bit shorter. Oh, I should have thought of that before. Okay, so I dipped the end of this in a little bit of water, and then I dabbed a bit of it off to try to see if it would stick to the other yarn on here. Of course, it helps if I would position him right. I want this guy up here, since he's a little bit shorter. These guys are a little bit hard to attach. Definitely glad we're attaching these now instead of waiting until we attached everything to the head. That would be a nightmare. So this is definitely the easier way to go. I feel like it's still a little tedious to make all of these, but I knew this was going to be a bit of an involved project before I even started it. Now I could have just like let these be frilly and flowy, but kind of dig in their cute factor, being a little bit more stiff and stuff. So that's 3. I gotta get 5 more on that guy. I definitely have to get some more yarn fluffed. So I'm using acrylic yarn. Instead of roving. Acrylic yarn's a little bit better on my budget. Just a little bit. So I'm kind of making a bit of a fiber snake, and I'm folding it over on itself just to get it a little bit thicker. And then I'm kind of trying to make a cylinder.
What is this? Don't eat a tissue. Where'd she even get that?
Maybe it fell out of my trash.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Who had it?
Suzu.
Buddy, there's dog food right there. Unless Snuffles ate it all. But I'm trying to make a cylinder type shape. We've been doing several of these now, so we've got a little divot belted into the mat here. That's okay. This is one of my older mats. It's alright. And I use the acrylic yarn because I can find it, A, in a lot more colors. A lot more colors than I can the roving. And I can get a lot more acrylic yarn for the price of roving. Now I could just buy the white roving or the cream colored roving and dye it. I ain't got room for that, and I ain't got time for that. hats off to those that do. I just, no. I got too much else going on. I'll do the yarn. I barely have enough time to prep the yarn. I'll stick with this. And the yarn prep's not too bad. Put on like a podcast or a YouTube video or documentary or something and get down to work fluffing some yarn. It's not so bad. These are hard to hold on to. I will say that. That's my biggest issue right now, is just maintaining my hold. So does anybody have any plans for Thanksgiving if you're celebrating here in the US? You might not be from the US, and that's fine. Are you going to any families, making anything, staying home, hiding from the world? All of these are valid options. Now, even though the mother-in-law and her sister are arriving tonight, I'm not cooking for them. Her sister has gluten issues, and we tried to cook for them the one year, and then they're like, no, we're fine. I'm like, I'll tell you what stuff the packaging says has gluten in it. She's like, no. I'm like, all right, fine then. Whatever. That's fine. So they're gonna figure it out themselves or go to her other sister's place. So knowing those two, they'll probably go to the other sisters. Alright, so I'm just trimming up the edges there, trying to make it not quite so willy-nilly. So this is another short one. I'm gonna try to get it attached up here. Because it feels like it would fit a little bit better. Up in this spot. And we're just going to work our way around, stabbing that into our little antenna nub here. I'm trying not to stab too deep so I don't come out somewhere else and have pink fluff dark pink fluff showing where I don't necessarily want it to be. Okay, so that's 4. Number 5 is going to go here, and then 6, 7, 8 is how we're going to do that. All right. That is not quite enough. That's probably good. Probably too much. I'll probably end up chopping a bit of it off. We'll see here. See how it goes. Try to keep those guys kind of close by, so we can at least see what I'm working towards. So far today we made an extra one of these because I was one short. The reference photo I was looking at, the axolotl was angled funny, and so it looked like I only needed 5, and he's like, no, you need 6. I'm like, but 5, and he goes, no, it's 6. It's 3 on each side of its head. I was like, oh. My reference photo was kind of small, and the current of the water kind of had it flopping over its head, so it looked like it was only 5. So, drat, but, alright then. So be it. I am still working on that speed felt for episode 12 for the season 3 of Bob Ross that we did some time ago. I'm on the 8th live stream. We did 15 total sessions working on that. But I'm on number 8, so I am making progress. One day last week I managed to get through an entire live stream, which doesn't sound like very much, but for me and my attention span, that wasn't too bad. That was actually fairly good. But then again, it was all day. But some of those cuts are like 10 seconds, and some of them can be like 2 to 3 minutes. So it is a lot of video that I need to scroll through. So it does take a little bit of time. Plus, I was working on finishing up the husband's crab painting. Now, the main shape of that was taken from a coloring book that I had picked up, but the image was a lot smaller, so we enlarged it to fit on that 8x10 canvas. And then I added a little extra doodling here and there. I didn't go too crazy with the doodling because it was a busy piece. And yesterday I got a mock-up done for one of the magnets I want to try to do. So I was glad I got that. Not so glad about how long it took me, but I was also having some computer issues. Oh, so my mom went for a lung scan. Because when she was coughing so much when we came back from our trip, we kind of made her go. And that doctor's like, yeah, no, there's some pneumonia here, bronchitis or something. And They thought her lungs looked like there was some scarring in it. They were concerned about that. So she talked to her regular doctor, finally, because we had taken her to urgent care. And that doctor wanted her to go see a lung guy. He had her do, I think, an MRI. And he's like, I don't really see anything all that concerning. He's like, it's the lungs of somebody that smoked for, you know, like 40 some years. Which now that I think about it, is kind of interesting. Because I was born the year after my parents got married. And I'm in my early 40s. So I find that interesting. But I guess she would have started a little bit before she married my dad, but anyhow, he's like, I really don't see anything all that terribly concerning, but he's like, we're gonna do a cancer screening anyway, because you've never had one. So she's gotta have a CAT scan done sometime in the middle of December. But he didn't see anything to be too worried about at the moment. So that's something. I suppose. And he said it was good that we were cutting her back to half a pack a day, because she was almost at a full pack a day. Almost. Alright, we're gonna just trim off the little wild fuzzy ends here that are sticking out. I'm gonna get real close up against it. I don't want to cut into it. I'm just gonna kind of glide along the edge of it. Kind of give him a little, real close haircut. And that it was good that we've got her. Thought I got a little too close there. And by that time I was already committed, so I kind of had to follow through. But he was happy that we were getting her to walk more. Or we're trying to get her to walk more. Okay. So let's see. I don't need a huge tail here to attach this. I probably should went a little bit bigger on that though. That was probably a little too close. Alright, again, I'm just gonna dip that in just to get it slightly damp. I don't want it real wet. Okay. I just want you to stick long enough, or pretend to stick long enough, just so I can get you tacked down a little bit. Start the process here. So this is going to take a little bit of flipping and a little bit of fussing while you get these guys attached. Now, I could hot glue these in place, but I just don't feel like it. It's just easier to do it this way. When the fiber will cooperate, it's definitely easier. Don't know that we're going to have time to get all of these guys on here. What time is it? Alright, might have time to get 3 more made. Okay. That's not too bad, right? I got these two. So that bit that I cut off the other one, I'm just going to kind of work into there. See if we can get this guy shaped up here. And we're just going to kind of stab it to itself. And it's going to take a little bit. We're going to have to keep turning for how tight of a cylinder that we want this to be. I know it seems a little silly to have so much fluff, but it's going to shrink down as the needle goes through and grabs all the fibers and starts slamming them into each other. We'll get this guy in shape in no time. Alright. And I definitely want to keep turning him, because if I concentrate on one side specifically, then it's just going to be flat. Right? We don't want a flat fringy guy. So maybe like doing 1/8 turns, kinda. Because if you keep doing quarter turns, it might turn into like a boxy shape. And that's not quite what we're going for. Now, I have never needle felted one of these before. Flat or 3D. I've never even drawn one before, so this has definitely been an adventure. But we have the base of our head here, and this is our body. So I definitely have to get some more pink put together. I'm not sure. I might have enough for the head fluffed, but we still have to make our leggies. Which I might not finish in time. That's why I was saying I'm gonna have to start working on this guy off stream and just try to record some of it. That way you guys can see what I was doing. That way you're not missing too much. So I'm just trying to get this guy a little bit tighter, a little bit more cleaned up. So there's still some soft flyaways here. I feel like we could still attach here, but that might be good. Hmm?
What?
I didn't say nothing to you.
I thought you said something.
It's okay. You know, one of the dogs is doing something because I can hear them snorting. Oh, hold on, you guys. Alright, sorry about that. Husband's phone started ringing and I didn't know if it was his mother. Saying they were almost here. We wouldn't be that lucky. To get them sorted before it gets dark. Do you know what you're doing for dinner?
Nope.
Do I need to make you something? Do I need to make you something?
I don't know. I'll figure it out in a bit.
Alright. Okay. So again, we're just doing a little close shearing here. Just to get them shaped. And get all those extra little fuzzes cut down. Pulled that off with us. I'm like, where did it go? It's just here. Alright. So, this guy. Start to get you tacked in. Carefully. These are finger protectors, finger coats. In an attempt to keep me from any serious injury. You can still stab through them or into them. I have done it, unless I'm just special. Or maybe mine aren't the best quality. Could be any of those. Maybe I have a talent for finding the weaker parts of the piece, but it'll keep your injury from being too bad, keep the needle from going too deep if you do miss and stab into them. Alright. Trying to make sure that we can get this guy in there without messing up the other ones. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 2 more. And then we'll have half of these guys done. Alright. But we're getting there. I know we didn't get a whole lot of progress today, but we got an extra one of these guys done. And we got 2 more pink coated, pink wrapped. And we got one's tendrils completed, those little fringy guys. And we've been battling camera issues today as well. And internet issues. I've actually been battling the internet issues since yesterday. And I guess we had a couple camera issues yesterday. Potentially. Hey, it is pretty chilly in here. Never really got super warm. Like, are you cold too, or is it just me?
It is quite chilly.
Just kind of strange, because it's only It's in the 50s outside. Lately it's been a lot warmer in our room. Especially with the big light on. Usually stays a little bit warmer. But it did get down into the 20s last night. That point is still a little flimsy here. That's a little bit better. Like when you squeeze it, you can feel it being a little bit stiffer. So it is kind of something you're going to have to check in on and feel to see if it's where you want it to be. I'm just doing it over this. I'm doing the snipping over a tissue just because I don't want the pink little fuzzies everywhere. If you don't care where they go, then you don't have to do this part. I mean, you do what you want. This is just me trying to figure this out. Essentially. Okay. Let me see here. How much of this do... What's a snip? Okay. Kind of feels like a pre-made pom-pom. Okay. You, friends, I need you to hold still. So you can join your other friends over here. And they'll tell you all about what you're gonna be. So again, you want to be careful when you're stabbing into these smaller pieces, right? Because they're not as thick as, say, the head or the body. So you don't want to accidentally go through and get yourself on the other side. And I will say I've had these needles travel in odd directions because they're slightly flexible. At least the tip is slightly, emphasis on slightly, flexible. So it's going to find a path where it's going to find a path when it gets stabbed in. And I've seen them go in directions I wasn't quite prepared for, that have caught me off guard slightly. So I do want to be careful. Alright, so what are we up to here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more for that one. Can't forget the for that one on there. Alright, so part of the tail that I snipped off of the other one, I'm going to try to incorporate. You okay?
Yeah.
Into this one. See if we can get something to work here. Alright. And right now I just want to start with kind of stabbing into itself. It's going to look a little flat as we get started on it. Now, I haven't had too much trouble picking up the wrong colors off of the mat. Some of these other colors here are really embedded. Like if you're working with a lighter color, try to find like a section of your mat that's not too embedded maybe if you're worried about it. But I haven't had too much trouble with picking up colors I wasn't necessarily trying to pick up. I'm kind of staying in this spot because it's also letting me kind of pick up some of the color that's getting left behind. Oh, great. That popped into there. And I want to keep trying to do my turns here. So we can get rounded up and tightened up. As best as we can. All right, we're almost there. Actually, we might be there. Let's give you trimmy trim. And we'll see where we stand here. So I'm gonna come right up against the edge of where it's solid. And I'm gonna just kind of trim away all the little scraggly bits and the loose little flyaways that are really just from the fluff being stabbed through itself and coming out the other side. But it's kind of messy, so I'm not going for something that looks quite so messy. I want it to be a little bit more polished than that. So I'll trim off this end piece here. And I just put a little bit of water, not a whole lot, just barely touched it to the water. And it doesn't really do much aside from try to help it stay in place long enough for me to start stabbing into it, just so it's not immediately falling over. That's really all I'm doing there. Kind of just like a temporary tack down. Just gonna go through the bottom. As best as we can here. And work on getting this guy attached. Kind of reminds me of the bumpy pipe cleaners a little bit. Ever so slightly. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. All right, so we've got one side of our head. Gonna have to be really tight in there. There's not gonna be much of a neck. So I don't really know where I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna have to add an attachment tab onto here. But I don't think the head sits up here. It's kind of like all one streamlined piece. I don't think it's gonna look right if I put it up there, but that is a matter for not right now. So, we're halfway done our little tentacle friends. I'm hoping at some point this weekend I can get the other 3 sorted. Excuse me. And possibly, I don't know if we'll attach them. We'll see how far I get. But I think that's a good place to stop for today. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and checking in on the Axolotl journey. I definitely have to get more fluff on the pink, or the dark pink. I don't have that much available in the bag. We've got a little bit on the lighter pink, but regardless, well, not if I smush it though. If I smush it, we don't have that much. So I'll have to get more of these colors put together and sorted out. These guys are going to go in my project box, keep them out of trouble so the cats don't wander away with them. We will be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow with Planet Zoo, and we will be continuing work on the axolotl house that I am working on over there. So, I don't know if we'll completely finish that tomorrow, but we will at least keep going on it and see how far we get. So we got that to look forward to. Don't forget to follow the socially links down below. We've got links to the Instagram, the Ko-fi, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube channel. Sorry, my brain's just like, what else do we have links to? Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel because we archive all of the live streams over there. Plus, you'll find some stuff once in a while that we didn't live stream, like Bear and Breakfast that we're currently playing through. And you might find some art projects from time to time as well. I hope everybody, if I don't see you again this week, has a good Thanksgiving if you're celebrating. Travel safely if you're traveling. Don't drink and drive and all that stuff. And if you're going shopping for a Black Friday weekend, please don't be a dick. It's $10 off, ain't worth it. So, you know, just be decent to each other out there. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Thank you again. And until next time, you guys.